What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, family? How are you guys doing? Yours truly, AB. Welcome tonight. Promise tonight is not going to be like last night where we stay up until almost pre-market. It's been an amazing few couple of days for us. Speaking of which, just yesterday and the live before yesterday, last week, I showed that there was multiple institutions loading up puts AMC and even GME that were due for the end of this month. But surprisingly enough, we see in the after hours the AMC price action happen. So some institutions have already known. Apparently, the special masters sentiment to supporting the I guess the settlement, which we will probably talk about a little bit. I haven't read the settlement proposal and all that stuff. So, but that's just what you can see. You can see the news on any platform you go to. You'll see the wording saying that AMC. If you click on the news tab on any platform you're in, you'll see why AMC's pulling back and Ape is moving up. But surprisingly, that they, you know, that they've loaded up on puts, and this was, as I said, you guys can go and fact check the previous few lives that those were institutional puts that were being placed in heavy format. So how the hell did they know before today? Huh. Uh, let's see. Let's say hi to a few people in here that now we're starting, giving time to more and more people to jump in. We're going to talk about a lot of things that happen in the market today besides just the after hour action with AMC and Ape. But we're going to talk about the Jerome Powell situation that I was telling you guys all about today and still going to continue through tomorrow. We're going to talk about the new birth of the in the financial system. And we have a few interesting things that we'll talk about tonight, including perhaps we might have a special guest that you guys can, harass for a bit tonight, just for a bit. That you guys, I'm pretty sure you guys would love the person. So let's see. Mr. McCohen, how are you doing, my friend? Nice to see you in here. AJW, it's a usual, these are my usual family, my diehard rock, number one family supporters. And I am their biggest fan as well. Yakafruta, how's it going, my friend? Nice to see you in here. That's another family member right there. Wasim Bano, assalamu alaikum, brother. Wa alaikum salam, brother. How are you? Today I received second postcard. This was unexpected, as I hold only one account of AMC. Yeah, join the ranks, brother. We all gotten similar situation like that. John Goose Gociano. Hey. How's it going, my friend? Andrew Shoemaker. Yo. What's up, bro? In the clutch is always in the clutch. How are you, my friend? Let's see. CSI. The one and only CSI is in the house. How are you, my friend? CSI is one amazing gentleman that most of you in here know, not all of you, and I know from a personal level that he's constantly doing his thing, doing his best to try to take care of the whole family, and hopefully we're working through things to try to make sure that we all get to the land of milk and honey together. So, how are you doing, CSI? Continue the great work, much appreciated on behalf of the whole community. Swisha, how are you, my friend? I love the American flag logo, and maybe the Swisha stands for, shooting. You're always nothing but the bottom of the net. Swish. Andrew Shoemaker. Yes, all the charter is reverse split is going through, but here's the thing. I don't want people to overreact ahead of time. We'll talk about this throughout the live, but I don't want people to overreact and ahead of time because we had similar setups like this twice, at least, in this past, and I don't want people to start jumping to the conclusion basically it. Could very well be it, but we had two similar situations like this where Ape was on the move, AMC was on the down, then something else happens on the day of, and then obviously the opposite happens. Ape ends up going back down and AMC goes back up. So it's everything in its due time is always important. Is always obviously good. Pabloco, what's up, brother? The local man is in here. I want my steak. Let's see. Reading the Special Masters report. Yes, you are reading it now, CSI. Good. I'll catch up with you later on tonight, maybe perhaps after this live. And we got the famous #1 son. How are you, my friend? Glad to see you in here. Thanks for coming through. And hopefully you'll enjoy the the live if you're staying for a while. Not, hopefully you're having a great night. And look at that, owning the float. I'm running a few minutes behind, my dudes. Hey, my man, take your time. Again, you're the special guest, so anytime is perfect time. If you notice, owning the float, I've purposely put the chat on my side over my face, so that once you do come on, whenever you get, no pressure. I have a whole program for the night, or a whole live setup for the night. Go through a few things that everybody's gonna hear for sure. And I got a few special tips for everybody, for every trader. Just like I've called out many things that were going to happen ahead of time. Not that obviously I'm a financial advisor, but the things that I use, I'm going to give a few of you who stick through the show tonight a special thing that I've just come across that foretells a lot of things. It's going to be through an article that we'll all read together, but in the same time, it's going to alert you to something that would most likely happen sometime throughout the end of this year or sometime soon. Let's see. So when people are commenting, it's going to go over my picture. Owning the float, everybody's going to be able to see. That's what we do here, right? Let's see. I thought I smelled something. CSI, that is correct. Don't overreact. The report is not exactly against us. She says several good things. I'm about halfway through it. There we go, guys. See? Man of the hour. Coming in the clutch. In the clutch. You gotta make sure that you patent your name, because CSI is taking it through action. Owning the float from TD to AB. Yes. Busy man, huh? He's pretty famous. I thought it was going to be ants. No. Who knows? Maybe in the future. He's a pretty smart guy. Maybe I'll be interested in seeing exactly how. Like, I have seen some of his technicals, and he's not wrong with his technicals. I've even said this publicly twice before in the past. However, with this heavily manipulated stock, he's pretty close, right on, and the overall image he's correct on. But algorithmically, everybody, I think, has to give ants a little slide, because things could look exactly like the algorithms of previous. However, if they don't occur exactly, because we know, think from a person who uses technicals and who's heavily day trades and heavily uses day trading, one thing I do, and you all have to do if you ever get into day trading in general, is that you have to be able to read price action. It's not just about the indicators and all that. So price action plays a long way into your trading career. Now, price action, it's kind of like the history can predict the future. Price action doesn't necessarily always move in the same look. It could be very similar in looking. However, most of the times it's not even close whatsoever. It's all about the sentiment of the buyers and the sellers. So it's tough when you have someone who really could be correct about some technicals within this play. It's tough when you combine that with something that has been going on for about 3 years of corruption, almost. Some of us, many people are all but burnt out from the next month or next week or in June or in this. People don't even want to hear that anymore. Honestly, they have PTSD from that kind of stuff. So he's got my support. He can hear it here. But I would like everybody to. I would like him to slow down the when we're gonna squeeze and be more of show the stuff that he shows, which is always like supporting the community. After all, we would rather have him on our side than to not. Generally, I think he brings a lot to the table. Much love to Ants. Journey to the center of the universe. Good evening. Shirley, baby, I'm in and out when I can. Everyone, show your love by hitting the like button. Yes, people, please, you heard the mod. Hit the like button. In fact, try to break it so that you don't have to stare at it anymore. And much appreciated. Get the wet noodle ready. I don't mind sharing the name with CSI. Man is clutch with this movement. See, CSI, you got the blessings from in the clutch. Oh man, the show is going to be amazing tonight. I have a big feeling that you guys would like what we're going to talk about because it gives you the macro image about overall things that we're heading to, what's happening right now, what's developing right now. And it's crucially important, not only for our AMC movement that's within, it's like a bubble within the overall bubble, but it's important for you as an individual, for your loved ones and your family, because the stuff that we're going to talk about are going to be largely things that are even outside the AMC scope of things. They're going to be things that you would have to prep for, be ready for. Things that when you know it, you don't want to be the last one to know about because it will be too late by then. If you have something that you want to react to, that could happen relatively very soon, you want to be one of the first few people in the forefront of the driving seat on that thing, which we will talk about a few things tonight. Andrew is totally burnt out. I feel that sentiment, brother. I feel it. They want us tired. Andrew Shoemaker is saying they want us tired. They want us to give up. That's indeed what they want. That's indeed what they have been doing for the past 2.5 plus years. And yesterday we had a long live on explaining. I was explaining some things about why they could, as a theory, be doing what they're doing and how they're doing it, and what they're doing it for. But we will see. Everything must come to an end, no matter what, right? Page 44, she tells AMC and Allegheny the way they are calculating the settlement amount, 129 million, is wrong. To her math, she says the settlement is only worth 62 million. Okay, so off the bat, that CSI, that sounds like, just reading what you posted there, that sounds like, they could come back with a new offer that's, mathematically speaking here, from 129 to 62, maybe perhaps double better than that. So maybe perhaps 4.5 or 3.5 get one share for the reverse split, but we'll see. Again, I personally want to read the whole thing. I know you're still going through it, CSI. And at the same time, I want to see what they say on what the judge even approves of then. Because again, we've seen this price kind of action happen when they first made the reverse stock split and the vote came out to be approved of yes. Both AMC started dipping and APE started rising. And then the news of Allegheny's lawsuit came through, and then the opposite happened. So now what I would be looking for is, first thing I'm going to do besides reading this tomorrow in the filings and looking through Fintel, I want to be able to see the transactions that are going to be held. Are major institutions going to be dumping AMC and perhaps loading up on Ape, they're going to be dumping Ape. Because if I see, here's the thing. If I see a lot of Ape dumping from Antara, for example, tomorrow, to me, that would signify that this is not literally like what we are hearing now from the special news, the special master is approving. Might only be the news now until it gets corrected at a later time, maybe in a few days from now when the timing is right, whether it's the June 29th timing. So you could see from the news or the actions of some of these institutes what could possibly be what's happening, or what could be the case that comes out. Because simply, last week I shared with you guys that there were institutes piling up on puts that are due very soon, like by the end of this month, on AMC. So the fact that this is happening now, like 5-6 days later, some institutes knew basically from a week out or in advance that this news was going to come out. Perhaps it could actually be none other than Antara themselves, because it is an institute that actually did that. So they did that on AMC. There was just one institute that did what it did also on GME. So many different institutions knew about this ahead of time from last week. And this is for sure, because I've seen those transactions. Or it could be Antara itself knowing what was going to happen, since they're a 10% stakeholder in AMC. Thanks, AA. And now they're basically, they were loading up ahead of time because they knew what was going to happen. However, bottom line is somebody knew ahead of time. So let's see over here what we got. I want to start off with, until our friend owning the float gets through, I'll be able to see him in the special tab. Let me share this window. I want to talk about the ex vice president of Goldman Sachs has been charged with insider trading, and he's going to be ruled upon this upcoming second. Trying to find the, sorry guys, once more. Oh, there we go. Can you guys see it? Yep, it's up there. So an ex-Goldman Sachs vice, they say he's a banker, but he was actually a high-ranking officer because he was an ex-VP. So as you can see here, Burjesh Goel, a former Goldman Sachs vice president, tipped his friend Akshay Narayan to deals that the bank was considering funding in 2017 and 18. He was convicted on 4 counts of security fraud. We would be interested, and I personally would be interested in seeing what kind of time or what kind of situation that this sentence that this guy would basically end up going through for this crime. I mean, again, it's so sickening that every other day we're getting new people that are in high offices, and whether in banks, lawmakers, all over the place. These people are all over the place. Every other day there's a new person that is coming out with this, and that's just the people that are being reported. And these are the people that are supposed to be the pinnacle of values and the pinnacle of straightforwardness and not BS left and right. These are the people that we're supposed to be looking up to as Aristotles and entrepreneurs to the rest of the public. And unfortunately, you can see what kind of what kind of example these guys do. So we know it's all shady and it's all BS. Yeah, exactly, Bob Loco. Let's see what kind of fine he gets, because it says in here the fraud and obstruction charges carries maximum sentence of 20 The average sentence in federal fraud, theft, and embezzlement cases in the US last year was 22 months in prison. So this guy helps his friend basically clear what they say here is about $280,000 in profits, which I personally think it probably was even like than this. However, the funnier part about this is that he was actually caught on some sort of video calling his friend or telling his friend to delete his messages. So, and that's the crazy part, is that's an evidence. And he had the nerves to get up on the stand and say, I'm not guilty. Like, I didn't do these things. It's so crazy how these guys are so like entitled and stupid at the same time. It's beyond my wildest imaginations. Let's see. And on top of that, we have SVB. Everybody thought that this was over with. No. Oh, my dear family and friends, this is why I said this is going to be an important live for over what's happening, what's going to happen real soon in our world and in our everyday life. You got SVB, which happened last March. It defaulted, and the FDIC stepped in to try to take care of things. However, just this last Sunday, it looked like they found a buyer, which was someone who was within SVB, and they were going to buy the market, like the markets and the futures, part of the bank. And this is the crazy part. This is 2008 all over again, because what happened with Lehman Brothers is they were looking for somebody, a big institute, a bank, to come and take over and buy the bank's assets so that it does not basically over bloat and eventually make so many people go downwards, spiral downwards, and evidently bring down the whole economy with it. And this is similarly the same setup, as they found somebody which was supposed to be a deal setup. And now coming out today, apparently, whoever it is, looks like they backed out of it. Basically, they said, I don't want to deal with this shit. And now they're back on the market again, looking for somebody. So we could hear here the Federal Reserve reacting to it with Michael Barr said on Tuesday that the Fed is exploring stress testing, and this is apparently important into what we're going through, that could be used as a tool to make banks more resilient. This comes as a central bank examines ways to reform bank culture in the aftermath of the Silicon Valley Bank failure in March. Barr's comments were also made a day before Federal Chair Jay Powell is set to testify to Congress as part of his testimony monetary policy report, which we've witnessed today, and we were going to talk about that today as well. Kal-El, how are you, my friend? And I'm beating Kenny Spool. It's always never a full room until you're in the room, my friend. Nice to have you in here. Investors remain focused on the Fed's next move in interest rates after pausing its rate hikes campaign last week. But lawmakers are expected to remain focused on the fallout from the collapse of SVB and other banks this spring. Now, here's the thing. They're prepping you with this. Like when you're hearing this, what I'm reading to you, they're prepping you the upcoming late winter / early upcoming spring in 2024, because people think that SVB is in the past. SVB is not in the past. SVB's problem is still in the forefront. However, it has been just pushed further ahead for a later date, because the treat that I was going to tell you guys about later is going to come up later on, because there's other banks / specifically a particular bank that will be in some hot waters and really bad ones too. And crazy part is, we'll get to that in a second. Barr said that the reverse stress testing could be used as a tool to help supervisors recognize more Ignatius issues that could go wrong instead of patterns from the past regulators that have been trained to catch. And the funny thing is, he says all of this stuff that sounds like, if I was a common citizen, okay, look, the feds are on it. They're taking care of stuff. They're on top of it. Yeah, we need stress tests and all this stuff. And then you hear him down here says we really have to work harder at the kind of things where there are patterns we haven't seen before. And so I think it begins to help us as supervisors understand the ability to look around. The crazy thing is, once we continue reading here, the Fed flagged and was well aware of Silicon Valley's bank issues, but was slow to react to enforce infractions. Now, here's the crazy part. We've heard Jerome Powell come on FOMC meetings. We've heard the Fed members speak on many weekly, stances, all that. Not even one have mentioned something about some banks are under stress. In fact, they've always told us, until the announcement of Silicon Valley going under, basically, they've always told us that the banks are resilient. They continue to say so, unfortunately, and it's never been any better. However, he himself here is saying the Fed flagged and was well aware of Silicon Valley's bank issues, and they were just too slow to act. Near the end of 2021. So let that be even, like, for some of you in the back that are saying, well, they could have just knew about a week in advance before it happened. It was too late by then. Well, let this be the case right here, because near the end of 2021, supervisors found deficiencies in bank's liquidity risk management, resulting in 6 supervisory findings related to the bank's liquidity tests, stress testing, contingency funding, and liquidity risk management. So basically, they knew this since the end of 2020 through the entirety of 2022 / all the way to the spring of 2023, before the collapse of SVB happened, and they continued to say for that past year and a half. They knew a year and a half in advance. The Feds did that we were. We were in some BS hot waters and the SVB was under. However, they kept coming on TV, camera, or even voicing out their opinions saying that banks are more resilient than ever. Banks and the economy is great. Everything's transitory as far as inflation. Silicon Valley banks failed because of textbook case of mismanagement by the bank. All right. Its senior leadership failed to manage basic interest rate and liquidity risk. So what he's saying here, he's putting the blame all on the management. And what they're saying is, he's trying to, what Barr is doing here is they're taking off the blame off of defense. Here's why. Because Democrats, and this is kind of a silly situation here. You got Democrats going crazy on Jerome Powell and the Feds, saying that you can't continue to hike rates because the rates that we hiked have been the most hawkish rates we have ever made, or the Feds have ever made, based on like hiking up to 500 in about 12 months. The closest thing to that was about 4 decades ago, not even just in 2008, way before that. So the Democrats are going off on the Feds and saying, hey, and we heard that today in the testimonial that Jerome Powell, some of the Democrats were going off on him and saying, hey, you need to stop these rate hikes because these rate hikes are causing all this extra unemployment. And we are at really terrible, percentages, even though you got multiple sources saying that the jobs report is very resilient and amazing and it's very strong. So which one is lying here? We know that there's many companies and many people that are being laid off left and right. Almost every day a new corporation is laying off more people. Yet the jobs report is very resilient and strong, according to the Feds. And he's basically here blaming the bank itself. As it says, its senior leadership failed to manage basic interest rate and liquidity risks. So basically, in other words, when they were giving out loans to people, like when they go to the feds, when SVB went to the feds to get money, and then they turn around and give the loan to somebody, whether it's a commercial loan, whatever loan, something that they want to consolidate their debt or buy a mortgage, buy a home or something. They give them that loan through another bank and like through their bank, and then they would put a particular interest rate on that loan. However, let's see. Okay, guys, I'm gonna bring on our friend and our most beloved guy owning the float. All right. Can you hear me, Mike?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Can everybody see Mike? Hold on one second. Make sure that you are in the... How's your night going?
It's actually going, man. You have the kids, the kids are going to bed. I have the little one. The 5-year-old just knocked out right now. Got the other ones at camp. Even though we have half the kids here, it's still pretty busy when it comes to Tucky and our bedtime. We have a schedule that we try to keep up, so it gets pretty. I hear a huge delay.
Okay, how about now? A moment. Now I'm the one who can't hear you. You probably can hear me, but I can't hear you.
What the heck is going on here?
Oh,
I think you just muted me.
Yeah, I could hear you now.
Now, can you hear me now?
Yes.
I have a huge echo.
Oh, that's probably because I don't have headphones on or anything.
Okay, how about now?
Do you still hear the echo? I don't hear an echo, but what about you?
You don't hear? Yeah. I hear an echo, but it's all good, man.
You sure?
I hear myself twice. Yeah.
Hold on. I'm almost gonna get this going.
Okay, we got Yuka says, yeah, there's a bit of an echo. But then again, Yuka doesn't have any ears.
This is the first time.
Technical difficulties.
Right? This is the first time that I actually bring a guest on. You're the first. You're my first on In the Float.
Really?
I always have brought people like on the through the Discord chat. Like through when people are like in the background, but not actually live with the image.
Okay.
I know that you should be on live now yourself.
I'm watching your live stream now, and I don't see me. And I hear an echo.
Okay, let's see. Without can you hear without having the headphones on?
For me?
Yeah.
I can hear you now. I can see myself now, a little me. I see the bottom picture of me down on the live stream now. I don't see the top picture. I feel like I'm in the Matrix, man. See, I don't have the echo anymore.
Oh, that's good.
Somebody said the echo chamber.
You're using your phone, right?
Yes. I'm using my phone. I have my headphones in. Do you want me to leave and come back and try it again?
Uh, if you still hear the echo,
I hear the echo a lot.
okay.
It's bad.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Few moments, my dear family and friends. Sorry, we're going through technical difficulties, but we'll get this right and straightened out hopefully soon.
Does this help? Follow the light, they said. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
All right, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Is there still any echo?
Okay, I don't hear no echo. But you're like a kung fu movie. Now I hear the echo again. It's all good. It's all good, man.
Let me see. Hold on.
I think you have can you,
Go ahead. Continue talking. Actually.
okay. So what I'm seeing, if you look at your screen, I see myself twice. I see once on top, which is a horizontal version. Then I see myself on the bottom, which is a vertical version, and the bottom is actually showing on your live stream over here. If that helps you. But I still hear the echo because I think I hear the echo because you have me twice, and I can't get rid of one of those. Do you see two videos of myself? Like I joined the live stream twice? Can you confirm or deny anything? Let's see. I did not know that you're doing this live, dude. I don't know if you heard me. Okay, now we're back to one, which is cool. I think that's a good start right there. Can you hear me? Okay, I can hear you, but I see your mouth moving. You said you can. Yeah, I saw your mouth moving, so you can hear me. This might be like a bloopers right here. This is all good, man. It's all good. Just let me move this. Let me see what we got because I don't want to be too close. I can hear you. Let's see. I don't hear you, and I see myself on top. So I don't know what you're doing over there. But it's a pleasure to be on. Thank you very much for everything that you've done. I know we could probably end up doing this. Let me just go ahead off the cuff and just talk about. What's up? I see KYP's in the building. What's up, KYP? You put another thing at the bottom over here. I see you drinking coffee. Your live stream is actually, it's crazy because I feel like Neo when he's looking in the mirror and then you see himself moving, but then he's not moving because such delay. It's crazy, man. It's cool though. I can't hear you. I see myself on, but I can't hear you yet. I'm seeing how far the delay is on the computer over here to give you accurate information. And I see you twice and me once. All right, I'm gonna get out of this whole thing and I'm gonna start all over again. I'm gonna just get out and everything. So I'll be back. Here, and I see that's let me where we got here. This looks normal. I can't hear you, but you can probably hear me now. Is that correct? Okay. So I can't hear you, but the screen and everything looks normal. I see my voice is coming up on the bars. I see everything else. So the thing we got to do is get you back on, which is your audio. And I don't know where your audio is gone to. See right there, what you just did right now, that bottom part, that right there. Because I see myself on top and then the bottom part. So I don't know. I can't hear you. Still echo. I think even your whole on your live stream, everything is just gone. So you gotta check your audio on your live stream because I have you. Let's see, because I have you on my computer right here, and I still can't hear you when you speak. Still echo. Oh wait, I can hear me. Say something. Like actually, this is it's a delay. Never mind. I can't do that. I just ruined your show. I just messed up your show, man. That looks good right there. I just can't hear your audio. Sorry, everybody. It's like when I was live streaming and you could call me up. He's like, "What's up, bro?"
You hear me now?
I can hear you now.
All right. Does it look normal? Everything looks normal to you?
That looks normal right there.
Are you still getting any echo?
No, it's good.
Oh, wow.
Wait, I still get echo. Yeah, I still get the echo. But let me move this back kind of quick. Move this back kind of quick.
All right. You still getting echoes?
See, hello.
I hear you.
No echo.
Uh-huh.
There's the echo. There's the echo.
It did come back?
Yeah.
Let's do this like this. How about now?
Let's see. So I'm saying myself, I don't hear what it's saying. See 1 second. And no, I don't hear any echo as of right now. And I think we're good. I don't hear no echo. I don't hear no echo. I don't hear no echo. No, we're good.
You don't hear any echo now?
Oh, actually, we just did right now. I heard myself for a split second.
Okay.
I heard myself again. And again, so whatever you're messing with, keep messing with that. Now it's getting worse. Hello? I didn't hear nothing. I didn't hear nothing. I didn't hear nothing. So would you have it at right now? Sounds good. Now,
So
can I
basically,
hear you? And I think it's when you talk. I don't know. It's the weirdest thing, man.
I'm gonna let you speak, and when I start speaking, I think I just have to bring my headphones down. Didn't want to use the headphones, thinking it will cause you.
Welcome.
Go ahead. You hear the echo? When I speak, you hear the echo, right?
See, I don't hear the echo right now.
Do you have your volume on for your phone while you're watching this live?
No, on my computer, it's completely like off, completely off. So I don't hear. See, like that, I heard an echo right now. But it's usually when you say something.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something you just got? Is this Streamlabs or what is this? Streamlabs?
It is Streamlabs. So I know what it is. I think it's my microphone is speaking, and then you have I have the collaborators cam, which is you. So when you speak, it goes through this microphone, and then it comes to onto your side of the stream. So I just need to grab my headphones real quick, so that when you're speaking, I'm the only one who's going to hear you, and the people on the stream, but you're not going to hear yourself speaking again. Okay.
Whatever you need to do, man. It's all good.
I'll leave you on to speak, and it's not going to echo, but speak to people, introduce yourself. I'm pretty sure you're a house favorite. Everybody knows you in here. But when I come back and put the speaker on, hopefully we can put this whole thing behind us.
If that doesn't work, what I'll do is I'll just let you go about your business, because I don't want to. I know people are like, what the heck is going on? See, right now, I don't hear any echoes, which is cool. And so let me go ahead and see. Can you say something right now for a split second?
Yeah.
Okay, we're good. Okay, so everything sounds good right now. Okay, so right now on the live stream, right now, I'm actually looking at the live stream, and everything is kosher over here. I have not popped up to the screen that we have now. I see something different over here, but I know the delay's pretty big. That's totally okay. So I just heard myself for a split second. So let me get really quick on the comments. First of all, everybody, what's up? It's your boy Michael here, owning the float. You said this is your first live stream ever? Like that you had somebody on your channel?
That I've done exactly with somebody. Yes, exactly.
And we should have rehearsed this. So in the comments, and I don't know if this is up to date, but in the comments, can you actually see if people can hear both of us? Let's start there. And if they can hear both of us. And here's the thing, is that's cool, because I know that is the first time using Streamlabs. That's fine. And just get all the kinks out. We'll make it work, we'll make it happen, and then we'll keep it going. Let's see what we got. So in the comments, can people put in the comments? We have 28 people in here. So if we get at least 2 or 3, can you hear AB and myself, OTF? Just a thumbs up, a yes or no, or whatever. And it's funny because I'm watching this over here, and on the computer, it shows 2 different things. So I see 2 different screens over here. So let me move this over here for the screen, going back to, let's see. So on screen. So I'm moving the camera closer. Let's see. I can't see any comments either. There's nothing that's came up.
Comments for you? You can't.
How's your day, man? I can see the comments. I'm looking on the live stream, but I can't see any comments. But I'm moving the camera close. Let's see. I think we might be good in that spot right there. Okay, cool. I think we're cooking with gas here. All right, cool. All right. So,
how was your day? I heard you were Tony coming straight over.
I'm sorry, say it one more time. You're breaking up.
Everything going with you. I've heard a lot of good things. Like you were busy today, live somewhere else.
Bro, you're breaking, man. You're breaking. Do it one more time. One more time. You said you heard a couple of good things, and then he said, "What was that?"
Were you at a live elsewhere? Were you
No.
live today?
No, I was not live. This is the first time. Actually, I know that. See, now I'm hearing the echo again. Um, I'll just talk. I saw Tony De Niro. Yeah, ABC Bigums. They're on there. A couple other people that they're doing a live stream. I know everyone's been doing live streams, right? And I just said, "What's up, everybody?" Say what's happening, and that's pretty much it. And then I just bounced because I take care of the baby and the kids are going to sleep and so forth. So that's all I have. That's all I did. And then coming over here, I had just pretty much just waiting over here to see what you have going on.
I
Still
basically
hasn't still haven't slept.
well, I've heard all about your hectic schedule of work. So man, you're a hard worker, bro.
It's just the line of work that I do, man. So it just falls into line. Is I can't talk about that, but you can't. It's just pretty much you just go through and when you're done, you're done. There's no set hours or schedule or um, 8 hour shift can turn into, as you said, I think it was like 52 or 54 hours. It's crazy, man. But don't feel sorry for me. Don't feel sorry for me at all.
So I want to ask you, did you go through did you watch the testimonial from Jerome Powell today? What are your thoughts if you've heard it, if you've seen any of it?
No, man. Actually, I didn't because again, I was out and about taking care of some stuff, man. Just busy, So I haven't saw anything. I saw the market pull back a little bit. Um, you know, I know that there's a lot of things going on because they're talking about what the documents that dropped today when it comes to AMC. And you saw 8 push up, you saw AMC push down. Nothing significant, but have a nice push to the upside, moving opposite to looks like the settlement's going to go through. I think that's what they were talking about. I didn't read any more documents. I just saw what was obviously in our chat. One thing I did notice is the fact that Bitcoin, and here's the thing, this is me just being off topic, right? Bitcoin was at 30,000 and with low volume. To me, if there's anything that's suspect, it's Bitcoin at 30,000 with low volume. That is setting up for a nasty, nasty pullback and a retracement. So people are saying, hey, cryptocurrency is time to buy. It's I'm definitely not. And I've done some things too over the last week and a half to set myself up in a way where it's totally completely different from. I know people will look at AMC, people look at GameStop, and people are looking at the market being probably another bull run and so forth. To me, I'm setting up in a way that I'm preparing for a downside leading off to the end of the year, beginning of 2024. And that's how I'm setting up, pretty much all my positions, seeing where, you got the SQQ, you have obviously SPY where it's at, the VIX. There's a couple of things that I'm working on, and I'm setting up myself, as well as buying, inverse ETFs, buying shares, massive amounts of shares, because that's how I believe, the market's going to go. And so I'm setting up myself that way. I'm going to make a video about that. Again, it's not going to be financial advice, but what you see right now in the markets is just a facade. And I think that right when I first came on, I heard you talking about the banks, what Jerome Powell says, and I'm going to watch this later on tonight. But when he says the banks are strong and resilient, that is something that that you definitely cannot hang your head on. But one other thing too is that I have a meeting tomorrow, and I have a telephone call with a friend of mine who's actually in the commercial real estate business, in a big way, like massive. And we're gonna sit down, and he knows a ton of stuff, obviously, because he's been involved with CRE probably for the better part of about 35 years, and there's been things where I've been sending him text messages and little DMs here and there, and he's like, man, we need to sit down and talk because he knows what I'm doing. He's one of the guys that I get information from, especially when it comes to CRE. Commercial real estate, for people that don't know, is that I'm looking forward to this because, again, what's coming down, you thought a 07, 08 housing market was bad. CRE coming down is going to be something that's going to probably be 2 or 3 fold what that is, but it's not affecting just residential, it's affecting businesses. And this is something that residential banks and so forth, it's going to have impact that we've never witnessed. And I think that most people don't understand that, and they're sort of going to be blindsided. And for me, I'm looking, in all honesty, again, this is just me, it's my own personal opinion, I'm looking to make life-changing money on the next crash or the next push to the downside. And if that does happen, if it comes to fruition, I'm good. I'll be good. And if it doesn't, it's cool. Like it's okay. But I'd rather be prepared to what I believe in, because I truly believe in this from what I've seen and from what I heard and the numbers. Is they're not telling it to the public. They're not saying a damn thing about it. And that's the scary part, man. That is something that for me personally, again, I tell you, I'm here for the retail investor. And that's something I'm starting to get into more when it comes to my videos. But he's seen that the last about week and a half, I just been busy, especially the last 54, 55, 56 hours. I've been MIA because of, things that I do. So there's a ramble on for you, man.
Well,
Celsius.
you're by now they should start sponsoring you, bro.
Right. And just in case it crashes.
Well, speaking on that Jerome Powell situation, you
Tell me
got
about it.
you got speaking on the Jerome Powell situation, you got him basically saying something that really caught my eyes, and that important thing was, before they stopped hiking rates this past month, in this month when they said, okay, we're not going to add any more rate hikes. I've made videos in May saying that the feds are caught in a very crucially important position, because once you stop hiking rates, the markets factor that in, and banks become a little more easy on the lending and all that, because that's it. They start thinking that what's the worst is behind them, and now they're going to get better. Now, unfortunately, if they were to not have that right, and I've warned literally in May, said if the feds were to stop hiking rates and be wrong about the inflation data, then they would actually be making a big mistake, because if they go back and hike rates again, which he mentioned today, the Congress, by saying that he's expecting another 50 basis points, whether in 2 increments or at least 1 increment at once, which is disastrous because we already see what's happening with the rest of the other banks and the entire sector. And for us, me and you and many other people, we might be happy about that, because a market crash means we get to load up and be on the right end of this thing. But if I warned, if they didn't get this correct, that they were supposed to continue hiking rates steadily and not stop. And that's eventually now what he said today is, on the broader scale, is what caused the markets to slightly go a little bit red. It's because he's warning people that he's going to start hiking rates again, maybe in July, maybe in August. And the markets are really terrified of that. And something obviously tells me that all of that was completely planned, because you got the Democrats here telling him that, hey, Jerome, today they asked him, they put him on the spot, if you continue hiking rates, we're going to have more unemployments, more companies laying off people so they could survive these downturns, less borrowing of money because banks are not going to lend since they can't afford to pay the crazy rate hikes, because no one is going to borrow a crazy loan that's going to be like 50-40% to pay back no matter what your credit score is. So they were giving him, like, putting the pressure on him, saying that you to stop, and he's talking back and saying, well, if you want me to stop, inflation is going to stay up and it's going to continue to go back up. So which one is it? Just let me do my job. Ultimately, when we have both of these things like kind of intercoursing with each other, now you have a problem with, either way, it doesn't look like there will be any soft landing. And they could keep saying this left and right, and they could keep saying banks are resilient and all this stuff. But when the music stops, which it looks like it will be, and yes, I do totally agree with your sentiment on sometime before the end of this year, perhaps in the beginning of this new upcoming year in 2024, we will most likely have a worldwide, or most likely a countrywide recession, that we will be going through a complete correction throughout the markets. Because just looking simply on all the stocks right now, the blue chip stocks, the big market cap stocks, all of them are way overextended. And when you look at Apple performing 52 and all-time highs almost every week in such an economy like this, it's like, for what? It's not like they're making a new MacBook that's groundbreaking. It's not like they're making a new iPhone that's groundbreaking. Tesla is on a crazy running streak. Nvidia and all that spice talk about the AI and the chat GBT and all this stuff, and being at all-time highs in an economy that is really masked by all this bullish sentiment. The crash is only going to be a lot worse, in my humble opinion, to what even people might anticipate. And I'm not even starting to talk about the bank, which I will talk about later in the show here today, because I have a particular special bank to share with people that is actually being prepped up to be the next SVB.
Out with the new tablet, right? And this is actually going to be groundbreaking. It's not even called the Mac. They're actually it should be probably the most AI generated smart tablet you've ever seen. It's called the MacBook, and this the the price of the stock is going to go up. The MacBook, get it soon. Sponsored by me. Totally just kidding, man. But check it out. So when you're talking about the rate hikes, right? And this is where I agree with what you're saying. But one thing that I posted a little clip. That's all I had time for. I posted a clip when I said something about 7 or 8 months ago, talking about the interest rates that we should be somewhere between, I think it was like 6.5% to 7%, as high as 8.5% to 9%. And I said this 8.5 months ago. Now, one thing that they've been saying probably for the last few years, I mean, for the last few months, is that remember, the idea of even getting close to 6% could be catastrophic. This is the reason why they're not even raising rates up to, they can't come out with another quarter percent, because if we do, now we're talking at what, 5.25 to 5.5. The next rate hike is going to be somewhere, from 5.5 to 5.75 to 5.75. The closer we get to 6%, that's going to be the tipping point. They're trying to stay away from 6%. The problem is that I don't think we can, because what's going on is the economy is keeping up with inflation. It may be slowing down, but it's not stopping. It's not reversing. It's not doing anything else. All the indicators, and this is another issue, they changed the formulas for all the indicators of what they're using to justify, hey, you know what, could be core CPI, PPI, whatever it is. They're using different indicators, different valuations in order to say, hey, look at, we're still okay. If we use the original, we would be nowhere near to where we're at now. But here's the other issue, is the fact that if they slow down, okay, let's say, and what happened right here is not a pause. It wasn't a pause. It's actually it's a skip. They actually just said, let's just keep moving forward. But they never said anything about a pause. They cannot say pause. One thing they definitely don't want to say is skip, because if they're trying to skip to the next rate hike, which is coming up in July, and here's my opinion, I think the next rate hike is going to be 50 BPS. That's what I'm planning on. That's what I'm assuming. Okay, if not, like you said, there'll be 2 more rate hikes throughout the end of the year to get us to 50 BPS. 50 BPS right now takes us to 5.75% on that's on the best case scenario. That's if nothing breaks, because of what's going on with the banking industry. If you really just hold back a couple months, just really think about this. We used to talk about inflation, and we're talking about the housing market. Then we had the bank runs. Then all of a sudden, once the bank run started, everything became okay. The market started pumping green. The banks became strong and resilient. And all of a sudden, now we have crypto just booming because they're pumping so much money into the market. There, at some point, it has to stop. I think that when people start seeing the markets and they get excited, they're setting up, and again, the retail investors always last know, they're setting you up for failure. And the more that I see green, the more mouth watering that my appetite gets for the downside, because I just see it. I mean, it's just like if you have your arm sticking out and you're holding a 5-pound weight, right? And at some point it gets heavier and heavier, and pretty much that rate hike keep going up, and what's going on in the economy is keeps creeping down your arm, and it's getting heavier and heavier. At some point, something's going to break. Can they stop it? Yeah, they can probably fix it. They can probably mend it, or massage it to say, hey, we're sort of okay. But when it breaks and things start to run in shambles, the market is going to start collapsing on itself. You're going to get other institutions start, pretty much eating one another, and the banking industry, I think, is the last thing going to be that's going to be like, hey, the banking industry is not okay. They say the banking industry is strong and resilient. The banking industry is over leveraged. They have liquidity issues, and everything looks good on paper, or what you see on MSNBC, on Fox, whatever you want to call it. The banking industry is in a point where it's in a vulnerable position, and at some point, something's going to give. I believe in this so much. And here's the thing is, again, I'm here for the retail investor first and foremost. AMC and GameStop are totally second. AMC, Ape, and GameStop are totally second. I'm here for the retail investor. But I believe in this so much that I'm not trading, I'm actually investing everything that I have in this way to set myself up, and all the way out to about maybe 6 months, 8 months, even out to a year. That's how I'm setting myself up. This is how much I believe in it, because what I see what's going on. This is the reason I'm talking to people in the real estate industry, into CRE, and certain banking sectors, seeing this, because What people don't understand is what's coming down is going to be something that's going to be way more than what they really expected. And when it happens, they're going to be caught off guard. And it's unfortunate, but this is where I start, channeling my videos to. It's like, you know what? I'm here for the commercial. I'm sorry. I'm here for the retail investor because, again, you do not know what's coming down. And people say, well, you want to be doom and gloom. No, I'm being a realist. I always give it to everybody real. I say what I mean. I just keep it 100. And this is what I'm doing. Now, here's the thing is, if I'm wrong, I'm okay with that. But I do not think I'm wrong. I wholeheartedly 100%, 1,000%, I know I'm not wrong. And that's how I'm going about it. And that's how I'm going to just sort of get my videos and start going that way. Because again, I just, there's so many people that are going to be hurt and devastated by this. And it's so unfortunate.
I so wholeheartedly believe, like re-echo all these things that you've mentioned, Mike. And it's being in the market on a daily basis, especially for me being a day trader. And I trade options, futures, even sometimes here and there some crypto, and we will talk a lot about that also in the upcoming weeks. And even in this live, I'm going to cover something about some things that are developing in crypto that are important to everybody to understand or actually go through and know what's coming down the pipeline. Now, the one thing I also completely agree with you on is that I'm actually putting and specifically, like literally, like lining up so many of my assets onto this upcoming downturn, or worst case scenario crash. Best case scenario, in my humble opinion, similar to yours, is a major downturn. One thing I've seen is that the S&P 500 throughout the past, since 1993, since it was first initiated as an index fund, has always continued to make higher highs no matter what and continue to move up. And every obviously few years it would have a downturn or a correction, or similar to what we had in 2020 when the COVID shutdown happened. We had the SPY and the S&P 500 go all the way down to perhaps a very downturn or recorrection in the price. However, when the markets reopened back up, you saw a major rally into the markets, and you seen it come right back up. Now, looking at the fundamentals and looking just at the charts and the analytics and the way that everything is set up, everything, not only sentiment, not only the world that we live in, that we see around us, that everything is high inflation, unemployment is rising like crazy, and all what's happening around us, we can feel it. But not only can we feel it and see it, even the data is showing that we are coming up and we are bracing for, in my humble opinion, a major downturn on the economy, especially with the S&P 500, and obviously it tracks all these other stocks. So you can best believe that you will see the stocks like Apple's and Nvidia's and the Teslas and all that have a major correction, especially now that you're seeing all this wild run, bull run, that I think is manufactured commercially right now so far, through major institutional buying. And I could actually prove that. I mentioned in a previous live where this whole past month, mid-May until now, there has been ludicrous amounts of volume of in the dark pools of seeing basically what institutes are piling money, billions of dollars on a daily basis. There was a few days in the week where each day they would put like $5 billion. And one thing that they have a hack for is that they would do these trades on the dark pools through a desk in Europe, which means it gives them a loophole for that transaction to not be reported even on the dark pool, reporting list until the day after. So these guys are piling up. And as we see now, being in the end of June, at the time looking at it, I was thinking that this thing is them piling up to get in shorts or in put positions in the market, but seeing the price action constantly surging to crazy all-time highs on a bunch of stocks. Clearly, all that volume was buying volume for them to have the stocks go up. So this bull market that everybody is so-called claiming that we're in a bull market is simply completely manufactured through institutions or players on that can only be institutions that can access dark pools and basically do all that manipulation through there and prop up the markets so that they could also have a front row seat at, you guessed it correctly, at the downturn. When it goes down, they'll be the first people to initiate that because it will be such a short trade at that point. All these stocks are way overly extended. Besides, of course, our AMC and GME and meme stocks, but all these other stocks are way overly overextended that any person who uses indicators or looks at major indicators or charting can see that, okay, this is where I don't go in for a call, or I don't load up on shares. This is where I wait for either a put position or obviously a short position at this. This is what day traders will just see. Simply, as soon as they look at that chart, they're like, this is way overextended on every time frame you would look at. So personally speaking, actually 1000% with you on that sentiment with what's coming, and the data also proves it. So you get a big plus from me, and we got a big plus from you.
One thing I did, I went back and looked at a lot of my videos that weren't AMC related, weren't GameStop related. I don't really make, here's funny thing. I have a huge position in GameStop, and I don't talk about it. I don't make GameStop videos. If people just knew, and it's all because I lost the bet, is the reason why I had to have such a huge position. It's almost comical, but then it's almost, it's good in a way too as well, right? But I went back and looking at a lot of my videos, and remember when they were talking about things being transitory, and just seeing again, I had people DM me and be like, "Why should we believe you? Like, who are you?" And I said, "I'm nobody. Actually, if anything, I'm a guy just on YouTube, but I have common sense." And that's what you just have to look, and having common sense, understanding, what's going on. You can't understand what's going on by watching TV. You can't understand what's going on by looking at the news, because they're definitely going to give you a bunch of jargon and BS, right? But one thing I did say is the fact, and I said this about a year ago, and I don't want to go back and start posting all these clips, right, of me saying all these things that came to fruition. But when they talk about things are transitory, and I said, like, no, we're already in a recession, and the 2%, 3%, talking about 4%, you remember that? I think the highest they wanted to get was like 4.5% at one point. They said that's, possibility. And I said, no, watch us get to somewhere about 5 to 5.5% before we start talking about 6%. The only part where I was wrong, and going back looking at my videos, I did say anywhere from June all the way to late August, September is we're going to have the nasty part. I said summer of 2023 is going to be the nastiest summer we've ever had, probably in our history, because that's what I truly believe at the numbers at the time. What I didn't expect, of all these things to change, but one thing I didn't expect was the bank runs. Okay, that's something that I didn't have my finger on. I did not know. Again, there's things that we don't understand, that we don't have access to. But the bank runs, if you really think about it, pretty much saved the economy. The bank runs allowed them to say, "Hey, let's take a step back and let's pump money into the market." Because if that didn't happen, if we didn't have these bank runs, inflation, the economy, what's going on, would actually start having a nasty downturn. Part of it now could have been next month, maybe even to August, right? That's what I projected. That was just me, and this is just the guy. Again, I'm a blue collar guy, just looking at numbers, and up until AMC and GameStop, I didn't look at charts and dig into a lot of stuff, but it's right there. It's literally in black and white. Now, one thing is that I want to get back to is when you have your wages going up at about 3%, just over 3%, and you have inflation at over 5%, that is totally unsustainable. That cannot continue, especially with the price of housing, right? I think are we still over 7%? I haven't looked at the mortgage rates lately, but with CRE, commercial real estate, and again, I'm going to keep repeating this. This is something I'm sounding like a broken record, but I'm going to keep repeating it. Over the next 2.5 years, you have about $1.5, $1.6 trillion that's up in refis when it comes to commercial real estate. Of those 1.5, 1.6 trillion, let's call it $1.5 trillion, those originally were at 0 to 0.25% interest rate. That's 1.5 trillion at 0 to 0.25% interest rate. Okay, now as these start to come and start to unfold, they're talking about 5.25, 5.25, 5.5. When you're talking about hundreds and millions of dollars, this is a staggering amount of money. And there's going to be people starting to walk away from this. And and my buddy, literally, he says that he had I can't put his information out there, but he said he had a refi, right? And he already knew it. And he started just moving everything out. He's like, I'm not even gonna waste my time. I'm not. It's done. Like it was a nice run. I'm good. Didn't tell nobody. Didn't tell the tenants nothing. Just he's just walking away, just taking off. Like you can't do that. He's oh dude, I got other business to tend to. I'm just like, that's not even cool, bro. He's like, I just have other business to tend to. That's it. You know, the amount of people that can be left high and dry are banks holding, just properties. It's I can't even begin because I can't even put that in perspective yet. In all honesty, as much as I know about this or know or see what's coming out, I can't even put in perspective the ramifications that's going to have not only for businesses, not only for residential, for certain areas, vacancies. The vacancies are increasing. Like just that too. If you retail fan, everybody watching or that's going to be watching this at some point, drive around your city. You don't have to go that far. Just look at any building. Look, just drive around where you, unless you live like in cornfields, right? But just drive anywhere and look at buildings. You're going to see vacancies, and just keep an eye. Those vacancies are not going to be filled. If anything, you're going to see more vacancies and more vacancies. And then pretty soon you might see a whole building just vacant, just sitting there. This is the point where I think people need to really wake up. I know that we have, I don't care if you're right or left. I don't care what you believe in when it comes to politics and so forth. You know, one thing I will say is this, is that when this happens, commercial real estate might be the main cause to actually start having everything just collapse and start to crumble. Because when people start walking away from buildings and start walking away from the CRE aspect of it, there's no stopping it. And there's not enough money. It's so vast. It's like I think the best movie analogy that I could put in is in Scarface. You remember when he's sitting there and one of the guys on the news is like, talking about trying to stop the cartels and the drugs coming into the United States. And he says, it's like putting your finger in a dike. He's like, putting your finger in a dike. It's like, it's almost like that, right? There's so many holes that are popping up, and so many aspects of real estate and properties are going to be popping up. There's no way to stop it. And it starts to just, a snowball effect, start to rumble and start to go downhill. People are going to start becoming fearful. And when they start becoming fearful, they're going to start walking out beforehand. Before it gets there, they're going to say, okay, they're just like my buddy. He's going to just start walking away and start just like, you know what, I'm done. That's it. And it's going to happen in masses, in droves. And that's what I'm saying. Later on this year, all the way into next year, this is what I'm planning for, because there's nothing I can do as an individual investor except learn, set myself up, and make as much money as possible. And again, if it never happens, that's totally okay. But again, I do not believe that is not going to happen. I wholeheartedly, I believe in this more than I believe in AMC and GameStop. I'll say that. That's
Wow, that speaks very loud volumes. A question actually. How do you think, every generation had dealt with recessions and downturns in the market? How do you think this generation, or these days, now with all the social media on blast and the woke mindsets and all this stuff, how do you think this generation? Do you think in your heart or in the back of your head, do you think that people are ready for something like this that we're embracing for? Or even so, even if they're ready, I mean, eventually, even if they're not ready, they'll have to kind of deal with it, right? If it's coming, it's coming. But how do you think they're going to react to it? Are we going to see? I mean, we're having a bad market already, an economy. And in these years, in these past few years, we've seen crime go up to unprecedented amounts, percentages. We're seeing almost every other day some sort of mass shooting happening somewhere. Somebody is going wild about something. Imagine a complete either crash in the market or a major downturn in the economy. How do you think this generation would handle it?
Well, I have very strong opinions about that. And let me start off by saying this. I'm glad I was raised in the era that I was raised in, simply because of backbone, fortitude, understanding, will, determination, all these things that come in, being, again, for myself, as being an alpha male among alpha males, just how I roll, just things that I do in life, not only by that, but also career and business, right? And with that being said, is that I'm going to tell you a little story. I was at the store just a couple days ago, and this girl was just lady girl. I don't know. She's probably in her early 30s, maybe late 20s, asking me, about, do I know any places that's hiring? I was like, okay, like, what do you do? She's like, no, it's not for me. It's for my husband. She's like, then why isn't he out here doing it? Oh, he's embarrassed. It's like, he needs, I'm like, so my question was like, do you have kids? And she says, yes. I'm like, it's none of my business, but you should never be too embarrassed to actually go out and do something. If I had to sell oranges on the side of the freeway to feed my family, best believe I'll be slinging oranges like you wouldn't believe, right? I'll be doing anything I can to mow lawns. I don't care what it is. Getting to my point is the fact that people are not prepared and mentally prepared to how to handle difficult situations. There's a bunch of bitches in this world. It's just straight up. They don't know. They want to complain. They want to bitch and complain. They want to point the finger, but never look at themselves. That's an issue. That's a problem. Now, you want something for nothing, or they want the maximum amount for the minimum amount of effort. It doesn't work that way. And I think it's a rude awakening. You're gonna get smacked up right in the face, and you're gonna have a hard time. Now, I know that there's kids out there that go out there and they grind, that do their business and handle it like they're 40-year-olds, like they've been doing this their whole life. I know some 20-year-olds that are freaking bosses, that are just straight handling the business, just straight hustling, and it's amazing to see. But for everyone that I see like that, there's so many that no, oh, I gotta work. Oh my gosh, I have to work 30 hours this week. Like, what? Like, the amount of complaining, the amount of bitching, I just don't think they're prepared for it. And you know what? Here's this. I have no problem saying this. Is that in for me, if I see that, I'm not helping you. You need a lesson. You need a hard lesson. It's up to your parents to teach that. If they can't teach you that, it is what it is. It's not my job to teach it to you. I'm glad that my children, that our children, have myself and my better half, because they have the best of both worlds. They have street smarts, they have book smarts, they have how I was brought up, how she was brought up, and it's great. She has a military background, all this stuff like that. God bless her, right? So they have a foundation that they look at us and they say, like, how come those parents don't do X, Y, and Z? How come they don't do this? Because we're not them. We're just different. I just say, and I take pride in rolling different and being different. And I'm gonna get into something. I don't know how far you want to push this, but I'm not. I'll let you go. But I want to say this: is that I've been a long time Dodger fan. Right? I grew up a Dodger fan. I grew up down the street from the Dodger Stadium. I don't know how many games I've been to, postseason, World Series, everything. Dodgers, right? I posted on my own personal social media that I'll be no longer a Dodger fan. Completely cutting them out. I don't want anything to do with the Dodgers, because what they're promoting and what they're pushing, the agenda that they're pushing. This is a team that I grew up with, that's beloved in their own family. My dad saw that and he called me up and he's like, man, he's like, are you serious? He's like, your great grandfather's going to be disappointed. I'm like, yeah, but shit has changed. Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss, but he's like, I said, things have changed. And I have to change with how I feel. And I have to set an example, because I'm setting an example not for me or for you guys, but for my children. They see that if I allow this to slide or this to go, because it's a team that I love, the team that I grew up with, and that I have a whole bunch of gear when it comes to Dodgers. You know what? It's what kind of example am I setting up for? What kind of example am I showing them? So therefore, I have to set an example to say, hey, you know what? Sometimes you just got to change and keep it moving. And if that means cutting up the team that you just grew up with and that you solely love, so be it. But I have to set that groundwork for them, which goes back to the point of how they're going to be brought up when it comes to tough situations. They all have different personalities. Some can handle stresses more than others. For me, when it comes to very high, difficult, stressful situations, I get more calm and get more relaxed. Just something that I actually learned how to do playing poker, especially with my line of work. If you get stressed out, if you get nerve wracked, then you probably die. So it's so I don't think they're gonna handle it very well, and you're gonna see a lot of people failing and looking for a lifeline that's not going to be there. And and I have no sympathy for them.
I re-echo that same sentiment and everything that you have just said, Mike. Side question, by the way, just so you would know, I was personally as well. I think I've told you this before, but I don't know if you remember. I was also a Dodgers fan in baseball. I'm not much of a baseball fan in general, but if I did support a team, it was the Dodgers. And I used to rock some of the LA blue, navy blue hats, with the LA on it and all that stuff. I'm still a Lakers fan. But I saw what was happening with the Dodgers as well. So now you see a lot of Reds hats, on and stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm already in a local here. Might as well support it. Pete Rose was here, besides all the craziness that happened with the gambling situations and everything that he had, I still do think that he should be in the Hall of Fame. However, but that's a side conversation, side note. Um, and I know you mentioned like you don't know how far I want to go with this or any of that. Let me let you know, brother, that I am a no filter zone in here. The people know me for this. The family here knows me for this, and I never would ever want to change that. I know YouTube got their own regulations and stuff like that, but no, speak your mind, because I always do here as well. And ever since all that stuff started happening, especially with the fact that the Dodgers situation was pretty kind of weird or kind of floppy, because you're talking about the group that they were pushing, were the same, like it's a group within the scope of a religion that kind of goes against his views, but the whole pushing the agenda I totally understand where you're coming from with that. So personally, for me, I never ever like, and I'm pretty sure no one likes to be pushed like toward this particular direction, even if it's not to their likings or anything. No one likes to be pushed in a certain direction and says, okay, you got options, but that's the only option you got, and go there. So I commend you on making that decision. And actually, when you and sticking to your values, because that we live in a world in a time now where people are so flip floppy and they go with life as it comes, and that's a crazy thing, and it's if you don't stick with your values and whatever values you have, then sky, or not the sky, but the ground is the limit to how far you could fall, because this world now has so many distractions, so many different things coming out every day, so many agendas that are interchanging every day. That's how, in my humble opinion, I think that people are growing up so confused now. You got this generation being so confused, purposeless, don't know exactly what they're doing. They could be the most intelligent people that you come across. However, they would still have this huge void in them that keeps screaming out loud, saying, "Hey, I don't know what my purpose in life is. This like in this life is like I don't know what the purpose is. I might have a lot of financial freedom. I might be rich. Some of them are extremely wealthy at an even young age, yet they go through all this mental health illness problems, and we see a lot of that popping up today's world, especially. And I remember that in my parents' days, in that generation, that topic was brought up, wasn't as concentrated upon a lot as much, because people learned that you need to go in the direction that you see yourself fit in the best, and therefore they knew the best, like how to not have that void of not knowing their purpose or being purposeless in life, because they knew what they had to accomplish. A lot of people, and remember, we talk a lot about our older generations and say all they did was go to school, graduate, find a woman to get married to, or vice versa, and then have children, raise the family, and keep moving forward. And we look down upon those values because, we're the new generation that says, no, I want to value my freedom. I want to value my my growth as an individual in life and all this stuff. But even if we're correct, because no one is just wrong or anything, you could go about your life the way that you see it. But one thing that they at least had was a map on their life and an itinerary on what they needed to do. So they knew their objectives. They knew they needed to go after this marriage thing. They knew they needed to go and graduate and get a degree and find a job and support their families. So that was very objectified. Versus now you see I have a lot of friends that would say, I would love to travel. I would love to do this. I would love to do this. And I would love to do that. However, most of it ends up being just like dreams, and they end up being confused and knowing where they actually want to head to in life, because they're just so distracted with all this stuff, and they don't have a particular plate to stand on, because their values keep changing left and right.
Failure, you're applauded for, oh, that's okay, it's going to be okay. No, it's not going to be okay. You fucked up. It's like, participation trophies. Like, you don't get one of those in life. Life is something that comes at you, smacks you in the face, and it's like, okay, well, you know what? One thing that I remember at a young age is that time doesn't wait for nobody. And and it's weird because when I heard that, I was like in my 22, 23, and time waits for nobody. And I stewed in that probably for about a week, maybe 10 days. I remember I just kept, that's all I thought about every single day. And I was like, time waits for nobody. And I couldn't grasp it. I couldn't really understand it. And then when it finally hit me like a ton of bricks, it's like, damn, you know what? It's like, no matter what you're going to do, just do it because the time's going to pass anyways. And what I mean by that is like, for instance, it's like you get somebody that, you know, that procrastinates and just like, wait, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and they say the time has gone by anyways, and they might as well have just done it, you know. And one thing I do want to say, going back to baseball really quick, is that the Texas Rangers, I'm going to give props to the Texas Rangers because they're the only team in Major League Baseball that has not bended or bend the knee to actually have some type of, you know, pride or rainbow or anything like that. They're the only team in Major League Baseball that has not done anything like that so far. And they're getting a lot of backlash because they're the only team. I have so much respect and props to the Rangers. A friend of mine who is also a lifelong Dodger fan, he pretty much says that he just ordered Ranger gear, Texas Ranger gear, because now he's a Texas Ranger fan because they're the only ones that that haven't done that. But you know what you're just talking about is I want to talk about school for a second. Something that is, you know, that they have values. They say they go to school, they get married, you know, they buy a house or get a career. School, I think, is, and honestly, in my opinion, it's for suckers. I think school is, unless you want to be, you have to go get, you know, you have to be like a lawyer, doctor, you have to have certain schooling, right? But I think overall, schools is a scam. It's like the stock market. It's shady. It's a scam. It's for suckers. Unless you're an athlete and, you know, obviously you still have to go to school. And you get all these, you know, underwater basket weaving classes to go out there and to play on the field, which they change their grades anyways, because I was one of those guys, you know. But I think school's a sham. I think the stock market's a sham. I think this whole economy is a sham. I think everything about what's going on in the political agendas is a sham. But I think first and foremost, one thing that we have to do out of everything, overall, above anything, is protect our children. And protecting the children is something that I think a lot of people think that, you know, it took a backseat to some degree. And why did it take a backseat? Because people don't want to be they don't want to be castricized or they ostracized. They don't want to be, you know, hey, I'm not the cool person. You know, I want to just go with the flow because you don't want any beef with anybody, or you don't want to maybe lose followers on YouTube, or you don't want to lose followers on your Facebook or social media aspects. Here's one thing about me, and this is a lot of things are going to change about things have not changed about me, but a lot of things are going to change about how I'm going to put out information and speak on things and be more direct, more, I don't want to say harsh, but I'm going to talk about, you know, not so more so AMC. I follow it. You know what's going on with the lawsuit? Honestly, it's becoming further and further away. It's becoming more and more distant because there's more important topics than AMC and GameStop. There's more important issues that I need to attend to and need my attention because I'm here for the retail investor first and foremost. And so I'm gonna start changing a lot of things. Start changing a lot of ways that I do things, and I have no qualms about that. I totally don't care what people think. If I lose subscribers, that's totally fine. But if people always knew me for the last 2 years, 2.5 years, however long it's been since I've been on YouTube or on social media when it came to this. They always know me just to be like, just keeping it real, keeping it raw, keeping it 100. I think as Kenan Grace would say, right? And that's what I'm gonna do. If anything, I'm gonna push it even further and say, these are my opinions. This is what I think, and I'm not budging off that. If you don't like it, that's fine. And I'll tell you a short story that in my fantasy football league that I had starting last year, we have the first annual Only the Float Fantasy Football League. There's a guy that we all 10 of us came back this year. But on my channel, I reposted Tucker Carlson some information, the videos that he had on Twitter. So I reposted those. And he actually reached out to me and he said he can no longer be part of the league because of Tucker Carlson. He doesn't like him. He think that, you know, whatever his thoughts and opinions, ideas, which pertain to me as well. So he's going to exit the league, and he, you know, said good luck. And there's no harsh feelings. We talked about it, agree to disagree, and we moved on. Something like that. Someone that, you know, that was part of something. You're going to lose friends, and that's what problem. That's a problem with people nowadays. They think they're going to lose everything, or they're afraid to lose people or lose friends. You're the average of the 5 people you hang around with. And if you don't elevate your company or elevate what you're doing, or even look to the future to better yourself or to actually have more purpose than what you're doing now, then why do it? And for me, it's like, yes, we're in for AMC and GameStop. But to me, it's like the retail investor, it used to be AMC and GameStop. Then the retail investor was after that. The retail investor has actually, you know, upended AMC and GameStop for me. Now it's actually more important issues when it comes to the retail investor that need to address that's going to affect the retail investor who in turn are invested in AMC and GameStop. And that's how I'm going to roll. And if people don't understand that or don't like that, I'm totally okay. Much love. God bless you. If you have any questions, hit me up. But I'm not going to change or worry about your feelings or your concerns because I'm worried about subscribers or losing anybody. Honestly, I think the information needs to be put out there, needs to be said. And if you get, feelings hurt, I got some tissue for you, and I'll send it to you, COD, or whatever. I'm totally okay with that, man. Anyways, I'm just rambling now, but I'm getting all hyped up about this.
So I love the rambling part, and I love the getting hyped up part. That's what gets me, and I'm pretty sure that's what gets everybody else as well. I saw earlier Yaka Frida is actually selling participation trophies in life. So if you if you did want any, just in case, your man Yaka has them for selling, probably at a discount, for family and friends discount for owning the float.
He ended my live stream last time. But hey, check it out, man. I have the babies. My better half came out here. I have the babies. One of them just woke up, so I'm gonna go help her. But I'm gonna get going, man. Plus, I need to get to sleep. I just want to say, just much love, man. Thank you. I'm glad we got some of the kinks worked out when it comes to your live stream, right? The first probably 20 minutes was, it is what it is. But I think you and I need to touch bases more on stuff like this, right? And there's things again I want to say, I want to get really deep into, I want to talk about, and I keep it really light. I really keep it on top of the water because the deeper you go, again, this is your channel, so have respect for your channel. And there might be a point where I might lose my YouTube channel, and I've thought about this. Totally okay with it. Totally okay with it. If that happens, I'm not going to go anywhere, right? I'll come back and make another one and be like, hey, my channel was demonetized or it was taken down or it was just deleted because of such and such. But I'm not going to bend to the weight of society or what the things or what they want things to be or perceive things to be, just to have people included. To me, it's like I don't believe in that. I believe in respecting each other, but I don't believe in bending to just certain people to, we have to think to what they think, or we have to do what they do, or we have to do this political agenda, or we have to do this. We don't have to do nothing. The only thing we should do is respect one another, and that is it. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you do behind closed doors. I don't care what you do in front of other people. I really don't care. It doesn't bother me. I do not care, literally do not care. Just stay the flip away from our children and stop pressing upon that. And that's something I have a strong voice about, and that's something I'm going to get really into and be very, assertive about it. And I'm not going to back down. If people don't like that, it's totally okay. I still got love for you. But
so, Mike, I understand that you have to go, brother. I do very, very, very wholeheartedly love that you came on tonight, and everybody in the family really values this. We definitely have to not only relink, and I'm pretty sure we'll do a lot of that in the near future coming up, but in the same time, we have to calibrate all of these settings with the Streamlabs, so we can make sure that next time it can just be get ready and go, and everybody could hear me and you, obviously. But I would love for you to please, after I obviously have shown my appreciation now, and again, much love for you to showing up in here tonight and coming on right on the spot. I mean, it was just like about 20-30 minutes before. So you're a big stand-up guy. I love it. Please, if you don't mind, leave everybody with your channel's name, unless you know everybody in here already. But if you have any last words that you would like to share with everybody, because I know you have to tend to your kid and to your family, and you have to get some sleep because you are a workaholic, and I applaud you for that.
Well, if you don't know who I am, that is totally fine. My name is Mike. I'm actually from Owning the Float. That is my channel here on YouTube. I've been along with the community for quite some time. I just want to get a shout out to everybody. I saw KYP, I saw Yuka. If I didn't catch you, I don't have all the chat up here. But I've been around for a while, and again, I started when just pretty much buying AMC from a video that I saw from Trey. And I think the first amount of shares was a huge block, 2,000, 2,500, whatever it was. And then never looked back. But through all this whole process of what's going on with AMC and GameStop, now in the stock market, learning about what's going on with it could be, politics, it could be inflation, it could be just the economic calendar, it could be just learning and not wanting to stop learning because it's important. And once I start to understand there's more than just AMC, more than just GameStop, I start to open my horizons to a lot of things and start to branch out, and therefore start to see a different perspective, not only in my personal life but also in this crazy world that we live in. And I wish that we had these platforms in '07 or '08. And here's the thing: is '07, '08 did not affect me. If anything, I made some crazy amount of money because of what I do. So I was just busy upon busy, and no matter the type of overtime or double time that I wanted, well, the housing, is collapsing, and all this stuff. I was just, getting called up left and right, and just I had no time, right? But I know a lot of people that it affected them, and it really destroyed their careers and their lives, their families, their homes, and their lifestyles. And what I want to do is, now that I think we have, not only do we have platforms, but we have opportunity to actually help. That we can, if we can save anybody, that's one person that can actually, I'm not even saying to invest in the market or to play inverse ETFs, or not even play to short the market or do anything like that. Having puts, save money, watch what's coming down, protect yourself, have food, and don't be blindsided. And that's it. I just want to be here for as many people as they can. And the information that I start putting out is going to be gearing towards that. I'm not going anywhere. It's just going to be gearing towards that, because I think that's something that's just on the horizon, and the amount of people that's going to affect. And again, I have much love for all my retail family. I don't care who you are. I have much love for everybody. And I just want to say, just God bless. Thanks for having me on. I got to tend to the babies, and everybody have a good night. Stay blessed. And I'll talk to you later, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you so much, and we'll catch up fairly soon. All right. Good night, brother. So you guys have heard the man, the myth, the legend speak here. I hope that you guys have enjoyed what Mike had to share, and obviously as being a special guest. And now we can get back to also continuing tonight's shows. As I said before, there will be a treat that I was going to share with everybody, the people especially that stick through the live, about an upcoming targeted bank that some of you know very well, but it's actually institutes right now are piling up heavy actually on the downfall of this bank, and soon you're going to be hearing about it. And you know what we do here, we always the first to tell you to fact check. No one has seen this around yet. I haven't heard anybody speak on it as far as everybody generalizes things and speak in general about like banks in general are stressed out or whatever. Now that I personally am seeing transactions being done for like better support the downfall of this particular bank. It's a huge one. It's an error. It's a cornerstone of one of the cornerstones of Wall Street. So with that, perhaps getting screwed here in the near term, perhaps by the end of this year. I think that it's going to be a music stop kind of situation for everyone else, because it's not just an ordinary bank. It's not even it's on a larger scale than Silicon Valley Bank. So let me get back to this part right here. And 1 second, put the chats in here so I could see them. All right. Okay. So with that being said, can everybody first of all hear me? Can everybody hear me perfectly? And give me some thumbs up if you do hear me. Let me see some of those thumbs up. Anybody? Anybody? Everybody hear AB speak? Can anybody hear AB? There we go. Thank you, Smith. Appreciate it. I think the chat is delayed. That's why a little bit.